Did you know that some fruits, yes, even the ones you've always been told are healthy, could be quietly damaging your erections, especially if you're over 60 and eating them for breakfast? I've seen it too many times in my practice. Men trying to take care of their health, starting their day with a banana, some orange juice, maybe a fruit smoothie, and wondering why their energy is low, their mood is flat, and their performance in the bedroom just isn't what it used to be. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 7 specific fruits you should avoid in the morning if you care about your testosterone, blood flow, and libido. Some of them might surprise you. One in particular, what I'll talk about first, is something almost every man thinks is helping him, but it's actually doing the exact opposite. You'll learn how these fruits affect your blood sugar, hormone balance, digestion, and most importantly, how they quietly chip away at your vitality over time. And don't worry, we're not just pointing out the problems. I'll also give you real food swaps and better options that protect your energy and support your performance, naturally and safely. Stick with me to the end, because the first fruit on this list is the one I see causing the most damage in my patients, and it's usually the last thing they'd expect. Also, let me know in the comments what city you're watching from. I love seeing where this glowing age community is growing. And if you find this kind of honest, practical advice valuable, hit the like button and subscribe. It helps me bring you more of the lessons I share in my own clinic every day. Let's get into it. The sugar spike saboteurs. Have you ever noticed that on some mornings you feel sluggish, mentally foggy, and maybe even a little off in the bedroom? And yet, all you had for breakfast was a bowl of fresh fruit. Let me tell you something most doctors won't. Certain fruits can silently work against your sexual health, especially after 60. Now, don't get me wrong, fruit is not the enemy. But when and what kind you eat, especially first thing in the morning, can trigger a hormonal domino effect you didn't see coming. I'm Dr. Justin Keller, and today I want to explain how 2 innocent-looking fruits, grapes and pineapple, can seriously impact your testosterone, circulation, and morning energy. Let's start with grapes. They're sweet, convenient, and easy to snack on. But they're also one of the highest sugar fruits you can eat, and they have a high glycemic index, meaning they raise your blood sugar fast. When that happens, your body releases a surge of insulin to manage the spike. Over time, frequent insulin surges, especially first thing in the morning, contribute to insulin resistance, a known risk factor for erectile dysfunction. Now, insulin doesn't just control blood sugar. It also interacts with your testosterone pathways. Men over 60 already experience a natural decline in testosterone, but insulin resistance can accelerate that drop. The result? Lower libido, weaker erections, and a feeling of overall fatigue. Then there's pineapple. It's tropical, it tastes great, and yes, it's loaded with natural sugar, specifically fructose. A single cup of chopped pineapple can have over 16 grams of sugar. That's more than a typical chocolate chip cookie. And when you eat it first thing in the morning, without any protein or healthy fat to slow digestion, it hits your bloodstream like a freight train. The body responds to this sugar surge by pumping out insulin, spiking your blood sugar quickly, then crashing it. That crash is what leads to mid-morning fatigue, irritability, and over time, a reduced vascular response. And good blood flow is the key to maintaining healthy erectile function. It's not just about the sugar either. These high-sugar fruits can cause chronic low-grade inflammation when eaten daily in large amounts. Inflammation is one of the underlying enemies of both cardiovascular health and sexual performance. If your arteries aren't healthy, including the tiny ones that supply blood to the penis, then you'll notice a decline in performance, even if your testosterone levels are decent. So what can you do? It's not about cutting out fruit entirely. It's about timing and pairing. Avoid eating high-sugar fruits like grapes and pineapple first thing in the morning, especially on an empty stomach. If you enjoy them, have a small portion after a meal that includes protein and healthy fats. That slows down sugar absorption and keeps your hormones more stable. And if you're serious about protecting your vitality after 60, focus on low glycemic fruits, like berries, that support rather than sabotage your hormonal balance. A small change in your morning habits can make a big difference in how you feel later in the day, and even in the bedroom. The hidden testosterone blockers. Most men think they're doing something good for their health when they reach for a fruit smoothie in the morning. It looks healthy. It feels healthy. But if that smoothie includes soy milk or soy protein, especially as part of your daily breakfast, you could be unknowingly blocking your own testosterone production. Let me explain why this matters. I've treated hundreds of men in their 60s and beyond, and many of them come to me frustrated, not with serious disease, but with a slow, silent drop in drive, energy, and intimacy. They're eating clean, exercising, avoiding junk food, yet something still feels off. When we dig deeper, one common thread often shows up: daily soy-based smoothies. Soy contains compounds called phytoestrogens, plant-based estrogens. While these aren't the same as the estrogen naturally produced in a woman's body, they can still mimic estrogen's effects in men. That's where things get tricky. When a man over 60 consumes high amounts of soy regularly, especially in concentrated forms like soy milk, soy protein isolate, or tofu-based breakfast items, it can disrupt the natural balance between testosterone and estrogen. That hormonal balance is critical for sexual health. You don't need bodybuilder levels of testosterone, but you do need enough to maintain your libido, energy, and vascular health. Too much estrogen, whether from within the body or from food sources, can suppress your own testosterone production, leading to lower morning arousal, weaker erections, and even emotional flatness. In one study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism, men who consumed high levels of soy protein over several weeks experienced a measurable decrease in serum testosterone. And while occasional soy intake is unlikely to cause harm, consistent daily use, especially in the form of breakfast smoothies, is what I see most often in men with unexplained hormone issues. What's even more concerning is that many commercial plant-based smoothies targeted at heart health or men over 50 are packed with soy protein and fruit. That's a double hit. The sugar spikes we just talked about, combined with hormone-disrupting soy. So what's the better option? If you like smoothies in the morning, switch to a non-soy base like almond milk, coconut milk, or kefir. Use a clean protein like collagen peptides or pea protein instead of soy isolate. Add in low-glycemic fruits like blueberries or raspberries, a handful of spinach, maybe some flax or chia for fiber. The goal here isn't to demonize soy, but to be mindful of how your morning habits may quietly affect your vitality. If you're starting each day with a food that tells your body to lower testosterone, it's going to be that much harder to feel like yourself again. And if you're already dealing with low energy or performance issues, this one simple shift, removing daily soy from your breakfast, could be the turning point. You don't need a prescription to begin supporting your hormones. You just need awareness. The gut-bloating culprits. It's easy to assume that a crisp apple in the morning is a perfect way to start the day. It's natural, it's fiber-rich, and it's often labeled as a heart-healthy choice. But here's what I see in my practice. Men over 60 eating certain fruits like apples first thing in the morning, and then wondering why they feel bloated, sluggish, or uncomfortable. And yes, why their performance isn't what it used to be. What most people don't realize is that digestive comfort plays a major role in sexual health. Bloating, gas, and gut inflammation don't just affect your stomach. They can reduce confidence, disrupt hormonal rhythms, and impair blood flow. Let's take apples as a key example. Raw apples, especially with the skin on, are high in a type of natural sugar called fructose, and also contain a class of fibers known as fermentable oligosaccharides, or FODMAPs. For many older adults, the ability to digest these fibers declines with age. Your gut lining may not be as robust, your enzyme levels drop, and your microbiome shifts. So what used to be an easy snack becomes a trigger for bloating, cramping, or even constipation. I've had many older male patients tell me they feel tight in the gut or notice visible bloating after breakfast. When that discomfort builds up, it directly affects confidence and blood flow. Think about it. When your digestive system is inflamed or under pressure, your body shunts blood away from other regions. That includes the pelvic area. Now combine that with sitting for long periods, poor hydration, and other age-related changes in digestion, and you've got a recipe for physical discomfort that quietly robs you of your edge. And apples aren't alone here. Other fruits like pears and stone fruits like peaches or plums can cause similar effects, especially when eaten raw and on an empty stomach. While these are packed with antioxidants and can be very healthy in the right context, for some men over 60, they can cause more harm than good when not properly timed. So how can you work around this without giving up fruit entirely? First, avoid eating high FODMAP fruits first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. If you love apples, try gently stewing or baking them. This breaks down the complex fibers and makes them easier to digest. You can also pair fruit with a source of protein or healthy fat, like a boiled egg or a small serving of nuts, to slow digestion and reduce the risk of bloating. And most importantly, listen to your gut, literally. If you notice that a certain fruit leaves you feeling puffed up, foggy, or just off, that's your body's way of asking for a change. You don't have to live with discomfort. A small adjustment in your morning routine could improve not only your digestion, but also your confidence, your energy, and yes, even your bedroom performance. The citrus crashers. For decades, we've been told that a glass of orange juice in the morning is the gold standard of a healthy breakfast. It's bright, refreshing, and packed with vitamin C. What could be wrong with that? Well, for men over 60, that morning glass of OJ, or even a whole orange on an empty stomach, might be doing more harm than good when it comes to your energy, hormones, and yes, your erections. Let me explain what I see in the clinic over and over again. Men who start their mornings with citrus, especially orange juice, often deal with mid-morning crashes, irritability, and an underlying sense that their drive just isn't what it used to be. And it's not in their heads. It's rooted in blood sugar and vascular health, two essential components of sexual function. Orange juice, even when it's labeled 100% natural or not from concentrate, contains an extremely high dose of natural sugar, fructose and glucose, with very little fiber to slow its absorption. 1 cup of orange juice has about 20 to 25 grams of sugar, which is roughly the same as a can of soda. When you drink that first thing in the morning, especially without any protein or fat, your blood sugar spikes rapidly. And what follows that spike? A crash. The body floods with insulin to deal with the sugar, and then your blood sugar plummets. You might feel sleepy, unfocused, or irritable by mid-morning, and that state of low energy isn't just mental. It affects your physical performance, too. What's worse is that frequent blood sugar spikes, especially first thing in the day, lead to insulin resistance over time. That's a key risk factor for erectile dysfunction. You see, insulin resistance doesn't just affect how your body processes sugar. It interferes with nitric oxide production, the chemical that allows blood vessels to relax and blood to flow where it needs to go, especially during arousal. Citrus fruits are also acidic, which might not seem like a big deal. But for men who deal with acid reflux or sensitive digestion, starting the day with acidic fruit can trigger inflammation in the gut. Chronic low-level inflammation further disrupts hormone production and blood vessel function, both of which are crucial for sustaining erections. So, should you avoid citrus entirely? Not necessarily. Whole citrus fruits like oranges or grapefruits can still be part of a healthy diet, just not first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. If you enjoy them, try pairing a few slices of orange with a source of protein and fat, like plain Greek yogurt or a handful of walnuts. The fiber and fat will help slow down the sugar absorption and reduce the insulin response. And as for orange juice, honestly, for most of my patients over 60, I recommend skipping it altogether. You're better off eating a small portion of the actual fruit than drinking the concentrated sugar version, which offers little nutritional value and puts stress on your metabolism and vascular system. The bottom line is this: breakfast sets the hormonal tone for your entire day. Starting with high-sugar citrus can send your body into a roller coaster of highs and lows that chip away at your energy, your focus, and your performance. But once you know the science, you can make better choices and feel the difference where it matters most. The silent libido drainers. It might surprise you to hear this, but that simple banana you've been slicing into your morning oatmeal or blending into a smoothie could be quietly working against your libido. Bananas have a clean image. They're convenient, naturally sweet, and full of potassium. But for men over 60, especially those already noticing a dip in drive or performance, bananas may not be as harmless as they seem. Let's break it down. Bananas are high in natural sugars, mostly glucose and fructose. One medium banana has about 14 grams of sugar, with very little fat or protein to buffer its absorption. Eaten on an empty stomach, as many do at breakfast, this leads to a rapid rise in blood sugar followed by a mid-morning drop. And just like we discussed with citrus and grapes, those sugar spikes don't just affect your energy. They impact testosterone production and blood flow, both essential for maintaining sexual function. But there's another layer to bananas that most men don't hear about. Bananas are rich in a compound that promotes serotonin production. Serotonin is a feel-good brain chemical. It helps with mood and sleep. Sounds good, right? Not always. Serotonin is also inversely related to dopamine, the neurotransmitter responsible for motivation, focus, and sexual arousal. Too much serotonin, especially in the morning, can flatten your drive, make you feel sleepy or unmotivated, and over time lead to emotional dullness. Think of it this way: dopamine gets you going. Serotonin helps you wind down. Starting your day with a food that tilts your brain chemistry toward calm and slow may be the exact opposite of what you need, especially if you're struggling with energy, mood, or sexual interest. And it doesn't stop there. Bananas are also high in magnesium, which is crucial for muscle and nerve function. But in excess, particularly in combination with serotonin stimulation, it can promote a relaxation response that some men interpret as low energy or lack of spark. Again, not ideal first thing in the morning when you want your body and hormones activated, not sedated. I've had men come into my clinic describing a consistent pattern. They wake up reasonably energetic, eat a healthy breakfast, often with a banana, and then within an hour or two they feel flat, tired, a little checked out. It's subtle, but over time, that feeling becomes their new normal. When we eliminate daily morning bananas and adjust the macronutrient balance of their breakfast, many report noticeable improvements in alertness, focus, and even intimacy. That's not to say bananas are bad. They're a great pre-workout snack, or a solid choice later in the day when your body benefits from a calming effect. But if you're over 60 and already feeling that slow slide in drive or energy, reconsider having a banana as the first thing you eat in the morning. Instead, build your breakfast around foods that support dopamine, stabilize blood sugar, and promote healthy testosterone, like eggs, avocado, lean proteins, or low-sugar berries. Small changes like this won't just help you feel better, they can bring back a sense of vitality that many men assume they've lost forever. Remember, libido doesn't disappear with age, it fades with neglect. And what you eat, especially in the morning, can either fuel or drain the spark that still lives in you. The fiber overload issue. Dried fruits might seem like a smart, compact way to get your fruit intake. Easy to sprinkle over oatmeal or grab by the handful in the morning. But for men over 60, especially those noticing digestive discomfort, low energy, or declining sexual performance, starting your day with dried fruits may be one of the quietest mistakes you're making. Here's why. Dried fruits like raisins, dates, figs, prunes, and apricots are incredibly dense in both sugar and fiber. During the drying process, the water is removed, but the sugars remain and they become concentrated. One small handful of raisins, for example, can have over 20 grams of sugar, as much as a glazed donut. But unlike a donut, it's paired with a heavy load of indigestible fiber, especially insoluble fiber, which can be hard for aging digestive systems to process efficiently. This combination, high sugar and high fiber, might sound healthy on paper, but in real life, it often leads to bloating, cramping, and unpredictable blood sugar spikes, particularly in older men whose digestion isn't as robust as it once was. Over time, these constant sugar spikes can impair insulin sensitivity. And as I've mentioned before, insulin resistance is a key factor in erectile dysfunction. But there's more. Many commercially packaged dried fruits contain sulfites and preservatives to improve shelf life and appearance. These additives can irritate the gut lining, disrupt the microbiome, and trigger inflammatory responses, especially in sensitive individuals. And inflammation, even at a low level, is an enemy of both hormone production and vascular function. Think of your sexual health like a system. It depends on healthy digestion, balanced hormones, smooth circulation, and steady energy. When you eat dried fruits for breakfast, especially without protein or fat, you're lighting a fuse in every part of that system. Blood sugar spikes. Gut fermentation kicks in. Inflammation rises. The body responds by redirecting energy toward digestion and away from circulation. And that impacts your performance, both physically and intimately. Even something as seemingly innocent as a breakfast bar with dates or raisins can have this effect. Many of these bars contain added sugars on top of the natural fruit sugars, pushing the glycemic load even higher. Now, I'm not saying you need to ban dried fruits forever. They do have some nutritional benefits, antioxidants, iron, potassium, but they're best used sparingly and later in the day, not as your first meal. If you do want to include them in your diet, eat them in very small amounts and pair them with a source of fat or protein, like a few almonds or a spoonful of Greek yogurt. That slows the sugar absorption and softens the digestive impact. But ideally, for breakfast, choose fresh, low-glycemic fruits like blueberries, blackberries, or half a kiwi. These fruits are gentler on blood sugar, easier on digestion, and less likely to disrupt the hormonal and vascular systems that support sexual health. When men in their 60s start adjusting their breakfast habits, even just swapping out dried fruits for something more blood sugar-friendly, they often report improvements in energy, focus, and even libido within a few weeks. It's not magic, it's biology, and your body will thank you for listening. What to eat instead? By now, you've probably realized that what you don't eat for breakfast is just as important as what you do. Avoiding high sugar, high acid, or hormone-disrupting fruits is a powerful first step. But the next move is just as critical: building a breakfast that actively supports your vitality, hormone balance, and circulation. So, let me show you what I recommend to my patients, men over 60 who want to feel sharper, stronger, and more in control of their health. First, protein is non-negotiable. Starting your day with protein helps stabilize blood sugar, supports lean muscle mass, and plays a vital role in testosterone production. One of the best options? Eggs. Whole eggs, not just the whites, are rich in choline and healthy fats, both essential for hormone synthesis and brain function. Scrambled, boiled, or poached, however you like them, eggs are a powerful ally for your morning meal. Pair that with a source of healthy fat, like half an avocado, which is packed with monounsaturated fats known to support heart health and testosterone levels. It also contains potassium and magnesium, which aid in blood flow, critical for erectile function. Now let's talk fruit, but the right kind. Instead of grapes, pineapple, or bananas, choose low-glycemic fruits like blueberries, raspberries, or blackberries. These are high in antioxidants, low in sugar, and gentle on the gut. They also help combat oxidative stress, which becomes more important as we age and can directly affect sexual performance. A bowl of Greek yogurt, plain, full fat, with a handful of berries and a sprinkle of ground flaxseed is another excellent choice. Greek yogurt offers high-quality protein and probiotics for gut health, while flaxseed provides fiber and omega-3s to fight inflammation and support hormonal balance. If you enjoy smoothies, skip the soy. Instead, start with unsweetened almond milk or kefir. Add a scoop of collagen peptides or pea protein. Throw in a handful of spinach, some frozen berries, and maybe a tablespoon of chia seeds or almond butter for healthy fat. This kind of smoothie fuels your body without triggering insulin spikes or hormone disruption. You can also consider steel-cut oats, cooked slowly and topped with a few walnuts, cinnamon, and a small amount of fresh berries. The fiber in oats is more gradual in its release, and the fat from the walnuts helps balance absorption. Here's the bottom line I tell every patient: your first meal of the day either builds your hormones up or breaks them down. By choosing foods that support testosterone, steady blood sugar, and vascular health, you're not just protecting your energy and longevity. You're actively reclaiming a sense of strength and presence that many men fear they've lost. This isn't about restriction. It's about intention. And when you make intentional choices in the morning, you carry that clarity, energy, and confidence into the rest of your day, and into every part of your life that matters most. What you eat each morning is a message to your body. Let that message be one of strength, balance, and quiet power. The truth is, what you put on your plate each morning sends a signal to your body. and that signal can either build your strength or slowly wear it down. If you've been eating some of the fruits we covered today and wondering why your drive, focus, or performance just isn't what it used to be, now you know. These changes aren't just about food, they're about reclaiming control over how you age. Start small, make the swaps I shared with you, and give it time. In a few weeks, you might notice more energy, better digestion, and yes, even a stronger connection with your partner. Let me know in the comments if you've already made some of these changes, or which one surprised you the most. And if you haven't already, like this video and subscribe to Glowing Age. It helps me keep sharing the real, science-backed advice that's often missing from mainstream health conversations for men our age. Thanks for watching. Stay strong, stay sharp, and keep glowing.